So, questions. Question time. If you're a public figure, and as Chantal is so often telling us that she's this public figure, famous rather than infamous, and beautiful, more beautiful than 90% of YouTubers, and more intelligent also than 90% of us. So I get that she will understand where little old me is coming from when I say that as a public figure, you want to stay in the good graces of your audience and you want them to know the best about you, whilst laying to rest any nasty old rumours that might be marching around and undermining your good character. So, I've got them here, these questions, because I don't want to be accused of not getting it right, okay? Think of me now as doing you a favour, okay? I'm doing you a favour because I'm actually giving you something to think about. I'm giving you something to sit with Salah and concoct up the reasons and the answers, and that will, you know, certainly hammer me down and put me in my place, won't it? But these questions and the answers to the questions I've got all here, right? So I'm going to read the questions, I'm going to read the answers, and then I'm going to show why you are actually going against what is said in Islam. And I mean, surely, as Salah, as a Muslim from birth, and you, Budi, as a Muslim from your rebirth, how long has it been now? 10 months or so. Just after you went to that house where all those Arab men were, let's not talk about that. So, first question, and it's not dependent on you being married to Salah or anything else. It's simply, how can I get citizenship in Kuwait? Well, it says here, Kuwaiti citizenship can be granted by decree, based on the recommendation of the Minister of the Interior to any adult who fulfills the following criteria. So it says legal residence in Kuwait for a minimum of 20 consecutive years, or 15 years for Arab nationals. That might be the case with Salah's dad. Would it be the case with Salah? I don't know. He said he hasn't got Kuwaiti nationality. He uses a Syrian passport. So, Conditions and requirements for getting Kuwaiti citizenship. There are 3 major requirements. Yalla doesn't count. You must know the Arabic language and learn it perfectly. Yalla. Inshallah. Mafi mushkila. You must also have a legal job and you must be a Muslim. Well, the latter is loosely true, isn't it? Because you've taken your Shahada. And you dress like a Muslim. I can't say that you walk like a Muslim. I don't know whether they have a walk. Is there any particular religion or cult or whatever has a perfect way of, you know, comporting themselves. But I don't think it would be limping along or harumping along like, you know, a garbage truck that's out of gear. If you are not a Muslim, you must become one. A minimum of 5 years before you apply. So, there you go. You see, Kuwaiti nationality is conferred on children born in Kuwait of Kuwaiti parents. It's also conferred on children whose parentage is unknown because it's taken as a given that it was Kuwaiti parents. But in the case of Salah, his parents are Syrian immigrants or refugees. I don't know whether his father came, you know, to get the job he got, and that they did well, and Salah's mother is buried there, as we saw when they went to her graveside to pay their respects. We Chantal marching all over the graves, or the people's graves. So, moving for permanent residence in Kuwait. Well, they give you the advantages: high standard of living, developed economy, large number of exchanges, loyal banking and credit system, high level of wages, cheap petrol. Disadvantages: strict laws, adherence to social norms, conservative society, political censorship. In other words, keep your mouth shut. It is very difficult to get citizenship for a foreigner. There's a lack of public transportation. Well, they don't need it. Everybody's got cars. Dry climates. Oh, arid. So the possible visas in Kuwait: a work visa, a business visa, a tourist visa, which our beloved Chantal has got, family reunion visa, a student visa. For all types of visas, an invitation from a sponsor is required. But, you know, you on a tourist visa, so Maximum stay in Kuwait on a visa is 90 days. You know that, Chantal. Or if your passport has a mark of entry into Israel, you will be denied a visa or that. You can't go to Israel. I'm taking my time because I want to get it all right. So that's it. Unfortunately, the immigration policy in Kuwait is very strict and closed. Well, there you go. So I would like to know how you, Chantal, are waiving all the Kuwaiti laws. Statelessness in Kuwait is Salah considered stateless? I don't know. So it says here, the country's naturalisation requirements are very strict. One of the conditions is that the person has to live in Kuwait for a minimum of 15 to 20 years. The person must also be Muslim by birth or have converted to Islam more than 5 years prior to making the application. And to naturalise as Kuwaiti, a person must renounce their original nationality. So, as Salah is still saying that he's Syrian, as he is using a Syrian passport, I guess he hasn't renounced his Syrian nationality. And if he hasn't done that, then he's not a Kuwaiti citizen, because you can't be both. So I would like to know how she is managing to flout all the Kuwaiti laws by popping in and out, as she is, and just working the system, coming out of Kuwait for however long she needs to, and then going back and staying another 90 days, leaving, doing it again. You know, holidays all the time, and she can do that. And the reason she can do that is because the woman does not have a normal job. She doesn't have a job. The only income that she derives is from YouTube, from putting out her less than worked on videos that have got nothing in their content except mukbangs when she's at home, sitting on the floor with a piece of plastic over a board while she gorges on half a dozen different dishes. So that appeals as well to her feeders. She knows she's got them. They all do, all of them, gendered. And what's her name? Hungry fat chick, Candy, she does. And Candy admits to it. But you won't get Chantal admitting to anything like that. And now she's Muslim, of course, those mukbangs would be haram, but she's doing it because it's her job of work. And that work is bringing in a salary that allows her to go back and forth between Kuwait, Thailand, maybe Canada, maybe parts of Europe, back to Kuwait. And she's doing all this with her husband, with whom she also has a transactional, unofficial contract. Maybe it's official, maybe it's written down somewhere. Maybe he's insisted on that, like Nada did. You've got to sign this in order for me to be sure of your intentions. And Chantal would have done that quite happily. He's got access to her, all her banking stuff, her card and everything, because she can't work out the, she's no good with money, basically. She's no good with Canadian dollars. So in Kuwait, with the exchange rate, with everything they've got to buy, with, you know, she'd have to keep referring back, how much is that? No, she's got somebody to do it for her. That's all part of his contract. And I'm betting he has to keep a book so that he can show her, you know, debits on one side, credits on another. You know how to do it, Salah. I'm sure it probably isn't the first time. Okay, answer me those questions. How it is that you've managed to wangle the system in Kuwait. Is it because you're not yet on the government's radar? You are on the government's radar. Oh yes, you are. I can imagine there have been a lot of emails and such like going through them. And eventually, you know, they're going to have to take notice. Who is this woman? Who is this woman who's making a mockery of our country and a mockery of Islam? And who is this man who shows his parts when he's not in Kuwait, who does all sorts of haram things, including allowing a woman to pay for his services? They're not the type of people that the Kuwaiti government would want there. They're not the type of people that would be welcome in any country, really. But, you know, live and let live. But just remember, all you visas, and remember all you people who pay to chat and are paying her when she feeds feeders and feedies, and who are paying her for certain content that we don't see. Just remember what you are funding, who you are funding, and why are you funding her? Why? Is it because you feel sorry for her? No. Last person in the world. Well, maybe not the last. I don't like exaggerating. But she's not a person worthy of your pity. And she wouldn't want it. She considers herself a big wheel. And she is a big wheel. Let's face it. But not in the way she wants.